the greatest pitching rotation of all time, the 1942 Kansas City Monarchs. We've got Satchel Paige on the right. Satchel, one of the greatest pitchers of all time, certainly the most storied pitchers of all time, would lead this rotation. In 1942, the Homestead Grays made the Negro League World Series against the Kansas City Monarchs. There had not been a Negro League World Series for many, many years, and 42 was the year that it came back. The Negro National League was represented by the Homestead Grays, and the Negro American League was represented by these men, the Kansas City Monarchs. They would face Josh Gibson, Buck Leonard. Josh Gibson, one of the greatest catchers of all time. Buck Leonard, one of the greatest first basemen of all time. And you have here Satchel Paige, Connie Johnson, who pitched in the big leagues later, was recruited by Jesse Owens when he was 17 years old. Lefty Lamarck. You've got Booker McDaniels. You've got Jim Matchett. And then you've got Hilton Smith. Hilton Smith was one of the greatest players of the Negro Leagues. Hilton Smith was named by Bill James as the best Negro League player, according to Saber, in 1939, 1941, and 1942 this season. Hilton Smith had the best curveball in that league and was one of the most dominating players. Buck O'Neil has said that he thought Hilton Smith in that period was better than Satchel Paige. This team ended up sweeping the Homestead Grays, who had gone approximately 62 wins and I believe 30 losses. They beat the Homestead Grays. Now, it wasn't without controversy. Because there was a 5-game series because the Homestead Grays, down 3-0, brought in ringer players, including Leon Day, who's a Hall of Famer. But that game was disqualified, and these guys ended up sweeping the series. These guys were some of the greatest pitchers of all time, and certainly the top 2 pitchers, at least at that time, in the Negro Leagues. Additionally, when you think about teams that need to have a 1-2 punch, Hilton Smith, Satchel Paige, among the greatest, if not the greatest, 1-2 punch of all time. And so here, for the Joey Brings It contest, is a video, if I can find it, just to wrap it up. Greatest pitching rotation of all time.
The Monarchs were the talk of the town all over the world because they were, first of all, such a great barnstorming team. So even outside the realm of the Negro Leagues, people got to see them in remote towns, in large cities. They were filling up ballparks all over the country. There are some who will say that the Kansas City Monarchs were the New York Yankees of the Negro Leagues. There were others who will say that the Yankees were the Kansas City Monarchs of Major League Baseball. They were that good. The Monarchs had one losing season in their nearly 40-year existence in the Negro Leagues and through barnstorming tours, which is absolutely remarkable. They sent more guys to the Major Leagues than any other Negro League franchise. They were a model organization, and their impact is still being felt around the country. I go into places now, and people can't wait to tell me the stories of seeing the Monarchs barnstorm into their town and the talent that was part of those teams. You know, anytime you've got guys like Satchel Paige and Buck O'Neil and Ted Strong and Willard Brown and Hank Thompson and Hilton Smith, and the litany just goes on and on of great stars who played in this city. You can see why we feel so strongly about the Monarchs' place in baseball history. Their owner, J.O. Wilkinson, was the only white owner of the original 8 Negro League franchises. And again, Buck O'Neil would say of J.O. Wilkinson that he was the first white man he ever met without any prejudice. When there weren't enough hotel rooms to go around, he said he and Wilkie slept in the same bed together. His players absolutely adored him, and he treated them with great class, grace, and dignity. And so Wilkie rightfully was inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame in 2006, although he should have been inducted into the Hall of Fame well before that because, again, his Kansas City Monarchs were the class of the Negro Leagues and one of the greatest baseball teams, not just Negro Leagues baseball, but baseball history.